Hey guys, good morning and happy new year. It's Wednesday, January 1st. It's 3:30 a.m. I'm up bright and early on this New Year's Day. And I've been reading about Nancy Pelosi and the impeachment, and I'm going to tell you what I learned. Okay, Trump supporters are in a tizzy. Trump and his people are in a tizzy because for once, somebody is not going along with what Trump wants in the government. And on top of that, it's a woman. So Trump and his supporters are beside themselves with anger. And over the last 3 years, Trump supporters really don't have a target because Obama's out of office. He's no longer really consequential. Hillary was beaten and has gone back to New York. And as I say, she's a grandmother in upstate New York, and she's really of no consequence either. So Trump and his people have no one to target on and bully and name call and just target like they like to do, to blame. They need somebody to blame everything on, and there's really no one. So Nancy Pelosi has become a lightning rod for their anger. I'm getting to this. Just you wait, you people. All right. Like I said, at the family dinner, the first time in our history, at the family Christmas dinner, there was a big to-do about Nancy Pelosi. My mom says, everybody who doesn't like Nancy Pelosi, raise their hand. And I don't know which way she said it, but I was like, yes, Nancy, defender of the Constitution. And the fight was on. Oh my God, they were disgusted and angry. The two women in my family hate Nancy Pelosi. My ex-girlfriend hates Nancy Pelosi, hates her with a passion. Her whole family hates Nancy Pelosi. All Trump supporters hate Nancy Pelosi, a strong woman. Now, this morning, I looked this up. Is Nancy Pelosi legally obligated to immediately send those articles of impeachment to the Senate? And Trump supporters, because all Trump supporters have been saying, she's been breaking the law. She's been she's been tearing up the Constitution. She's a criminal. Kill her. No. She is under no obligation to, she has every right to send them to the Senate when she sees fit. And let me tell you more. I've been reading up. And this is why she's not sending it to the Senate, because she wants a fair trial. Let me go on here. This is what I've been reading. Mitch McConnell said that he is going to show all the disdain he wants for this process. This whole process is a sham to him. And he is the leader of the Senate. He's the one that's going to run this trial. Now, when there's a trial held out for a criminal, right, it's held quickly. But if any of the jurors are in any way related or tied in to the case, they are immediately dismissed. You cannot have friends of the juror or friends of the prosecutor on the jury. No, the trial will be stopped until you get a fair jury. What do you think's going on with the Senate? The Senate is loaded with Republicans that say that they're just going to toss this fucking thing right out. That they have no respect for this impeachment whatsoever. Mitch McConnell has said that he will cooperate not with Nancy Pelosi, the person running that side of the impeachment, but he will cooperate with Donald Trump and the White House counsel. So this is like saying, if there was a criminal case held today, that the prosecutor and the defendant, the person that's accused of committing the crime, and the person prosecuting him are best friends. That's basically what's happening in the Senate. And Nancy Pelosi does not want to see a joke, a travesty, a mockery of impeachment. That is what's going on. And God bless her heart. God bless her heart for standing up for the fucking Constitution. Now, I read more about this. This goes back to 1986 and standards and regulations for the rules of impeachment. 1986. The government made up the rules for the Senate and Congress made up the rules of impeachment. And it said the Senate, anybody in the Senate, any one of the senators has every right to call witnesses. If any of those senators want witnesses called, they have the right to call them. And they could either videotape them or they could depose them privately or in public. And in 1999, when Clinton was impeached, Trent Lott, the Republican leader who was in charge then, didn't stand in the way of this. He wasn't for all these people to come and testify, but he allowed it. He followed the 1986 standards, the rules of impeachment, and people testified under videotaped evidence, including the president. So there's a huge difference here. Right now, the Senate is just dying to get these articles of impeachment and throw them in the garbage. They pretty much said that's what they're going to do. That they have no respect for everything has been followed to a T in the Congress. They voted, everything was voted on, it was agreed on, the articles were passed, and now they go to the Senate. The Senate basically says, you know what, we're in charge, Republicans are in charge, and we're going to do whatever Donald Trump wants us to do with this impeachment. We're going to throw it in the garbage. As soon as it gets here, it's out the fucking door. We're throwing it away. So you see, it's a mockery. It's a mockery of justice is what it is. They're not going to follow the standard rules of impeachment that they all agreed on in 1986, and they all followed again in 1999, even though they didn't want to. They followed them, all the rules of impeachment that they all voted for, that were put in place. Mitch McConnell says, no. He says, I have nothing but disdain for Nancy Pelosi, and I'm going to do whatever Donald Trump wants. I'm going to do whatever the defendant wants me to do. So he's the prosecutor, basically, and the jury, more or less, in this situation. And he's just said right up front, yeah, I'm going to do whatever the defendant wants me to do. I'm going to throw these charges right out the door. That's a mockery of the Constitution. It's a mockery of the 1986 rules of impeachment that they put in place. The Republicans are saying now that, forget what we said in 1986 that we voted for and put in place when we put these rules in. Forget that. We're going to do whatever this crooked president wants us to do. How about that? Because we hate Nancy Pelosi and we hate this whole process, and we love Donald Trump, and we're going to do whatever he tells us to do, or the White House counsel tells us to. Rudy Giuliani, which has nothing to do with any of this. He's the president's private counsel. So they are making a mockery and a sham, and with no respect whatsoever for this official government process, constitutional process. They're saying, fuck it. We don't give a shit. Nancy Pelosi is saying, this is ridiculous. And I'm not even sending this to you guys until we can agree on some freaking ground rules here, because you guys aren't following the fucking rules. You guys aren't even pretending to follow the rules. You guys are just going to fucking make a mockery of this entire process. And I'm going to hold on to these until I'm assured that the Senate is going to follow the rules. She has every right to do this. There's no law. She's not going to go to jail because she's withholding the articles of impeachment. No. She's ensuring a fair, legal trial by law. Think about it. If a criminal, somebody robbed a bank, and the prosecutor, the guy prosecuting him was his best friend, and his family was the jury. That's pretty much what we got going on in the Senate right now. And Nancy Pelosi, is the past judge, and she's saying, you know what? I'm not sending any of this to you guys because this is a joke to you guys, and you're just going to make a mockery of this whole situation. I did not know about the 1986 rules and regulations of impeachment. I did not know in 1999 that they did follow them, regardless of any argument, that they follow the rule of the law. They did call witnesses. And that's what Nancy Pelosi wants. She wants witnesses to be called to get the entire story. The people that were there, she wants the entire story out, which she has every right on earth to do. There's nothing illegal or unconstitutional about telling the citizens of this country what exactly happened. That's pretty much the idea here. The Republicans don't want this. They want to throw this whole freaking thing in the garbage as soon as it comes in the door and wipe their hands of it and pretend it never happened. That's what Nancy Pelosi is preventing right now. I am fired up, man. January 1st, you know what? Guys, yesterday and the day before, I was looking for a topic to talk about. I didn't even want to really look at the past videos for the past couple of days because I got a feeling my viewers weren't digging them. Well, here's a hot one for you because I am fired up about this video. I'm fired up about this subject, and I'm fired up about 2020. So here you go. Here's your video for January 1st. It's a good one. All right, people. Have a good New Year's Day.